guys, welcome to Brian's Man Cave. So today I'm going to be looking at a board game, and this one's kind of different. I mean, I've looked at a bunch of different board games in the past. I've looked at video game related board games like The Legend of Zelda and Donkey Kong. I don't know if I looked at the Pac-Man one yet, but I have looked at like Monopoly, some of the more common ones. So this one is based on a popular magazine known as Mad. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Mad before. It'd be quite mad if you haven't. But yeah, Mad magazine. I mean, it's a popular magazine. It's been around since like the 50s, I believe, is when it started. And I even remember buying the magazines in the 80s. They always had like great movies that they would just make fun of, like Batman and stuff like that. I probably still have a few kicking around. There was Mad, and then there was another one called Cracked. And so I used to buy both of those magazines. And it had characters like Spies versus Spy, which I liked. I even played the video game on them. But this was interesting. I remember having this as a kid. And it was fascinating to play it. It was a lot going on in the game. And, I had it as a kid, and I don't know whatever happened to it. But one day I stumbled upon it in a one of those like Goodwill style stores, like a thrift shop, and I grabbed it. I'm like, wow, I remember this game, and it's fun. Now, if you're the kind of person that wants to win all the time, if you like winning, you're not going to want to play this game, because the object of this game is to lose. So you have to lose all your money, and then if you lose, well, I guess you win, but you don't win because you lose. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't think it's supposed to make sense. But it's Mad Magazine. I mean, there you go. Alfred E. Newman on the cover. And a bunch of, bumbling idiots right there. All playing the game. Little catchphrase up here. Not catchphrase, but not new or improved. This is the bilingual version. So it's in French as well. A lot of stuff in Canada is sold, and it's got both a French and English editions to it, or pieces to it. So I'll show that off. This is got some damage here. It's taped. I mean, a lot of the old board games are like this. This one was, I think this game came out in like, well, it says 88. It says the packaging content's 79 and 88. So maybe it came out in 79, but then it was repackaged and resold in 88. I don't know if it was ever redone again. You don't see very many of them around, so it's an interesting game. So let's open it up and take a look at the pieces. It says 2 to 4 players, ages 8 and up. I think I qualify. Well, not for the 2 to 4 players part, but definitely for the age 8. Just gonna take that, put that over there. So like I said, it's got bilingual. So this is the French side. It's all in French. Mad is the same word, and we got the English side. The board looks quite unique. I mean, it's in black and white. The spaces. The comic, or the magazine, I should say itself, often was in black and white, just like this style here. And so, yeah, like that's pretty much typical. And then they would have like the odd colorings and stuff. And there's Alfred E. Newman running away with the money pieces. So you got cards. You place your cards there when you start the game. Again, there's French and English cards. And they have like a few interesting spaces. Like it's kind of like they're mimicking the Monopoly game. Where is it? Right here. They got like that jail guy. Only this is tough luck. If anything is under here, you gotta take it. So that's kind of weird. They have a lot of comical spaces, that's for sure. And there's your start. I'm gonna go to the start piece here. There's the start. A little funny guy with the gun. Yeah, this game goes a little bit different than you're used to. You go counterclockwise, I believe, instead of clockwise. So whenever you pass or land here, you lose 500. So keep in mind, like I said, it's a game about losing. So losing 500 is good, because you want to get rid of your money. But it's got the typical spaces, like take a card and things like that. There's no, that's kind of like chance. So they really modeled it off of the Monopoly idea, except it looks like you can go in the middle. So they got this little middle section here where you can go up. So that's kind of cool. You can deviate from the typical square pattern and kind of, but you have to enter, land here, and roll one die. And I guess you kind of go up. This takes space, go to any side. So there's a lot of like flipping around the board too. It's kind of like a snakes and ladders idea, where you're landing on a certain spaces will send you to another space, and the cards will do the same. Like this one, lose your turn and go ahead. 27. If your name is Alfred E. Newman, forget it. So chances are your name is not Alfred E. Newman, so you're going to have to do what it says. Unless you want to officially change your name so you can play this game better. That might be a little bit extreme. Again, it's right here. There he is again, Alfred E. Newman. If your name is Alfred E. Newman, collect $1,329.63. If not, lose a turn. Oh no, that's not 63. What? Oh, it's 1,320,000. Okay, it's a big number. It just laps around, so it was hard for me to read that. I don't know if the spy versus spy guys are on here. Oh, they are. Perfect. If someone is smiling, go back 3 spaces. If no one is smiling, go ahead 3 spaces. Yeah. So that's the spy versus spy guys right there. That's pretty cool. I was wondering if they were in here. I haven't actually played this. Like, I bought it just because I thought it was cool. Like, I didn't actually sit down and play a game with anybody. But I'm thinking I probably should. My daughter likes to play board games, so this might be a lot of fun. Place $1,000 under tough luck, so that's cool. It's kind of like the, what is it, like free parking in Monopoly where you put money under it. Sort of idea like that. And they do have a thing in this game called Anywhere, and what that means is it's the corner spaces. So the manual is not really anything to be desired. It's literally a sheet of paper, folded in half. French side on the back, English on the front. So it's like literally just one side. I mean, the game is very, very simple. So it says here the object, to be the first player to lose, repeat, lose all your money. And then it tells you all the equipment, tells you to shuffle up. Hands, each player gets a $5,000 bill, a $1,000 bill, 2 $500 bills, making a total, and then it gives you a number, and then it scratches it out, and then it says 10,000 for each player. So they try to be a little bit funny. I don't know if you can see that, but right there, they kind of scratch it out in the manual, and then they put the actual number. They're trying to be goofy. So the object is, well, it says playing caution, play at your own risk, especially if you don't yet know the object of the game. Well, that's pretty apparent if you don't know the object of the game. It's got some other silly things like roll only with your left hand. Whenever you roll with your right hand, each opponent gives you $500. So that's kind of neat. It's like a penalty. So people have to remember, it's almost like when you're playing Uno and you have the one card left in your hand. If you don't yell Uno, somebody else could say, hey, you didn't yell Uno, and then you draw more cards. Well, in this kind of idea, if you pick up the dice, I guess they're going on the idea that a lot of people are right-handed, so we scoop up with our right and we throw the dice with our right. I would probably get dinged on this a lot. I know for a fact I grab always with my right and I roll with my right. So they knew what they were doing for this to try and screw people over. And you get $500, so that's not helping you lose the game like you're supposed to. You also have to move in a counterclockwise direction, which is another, that would screw me up because most board games you move clockwise. You don't move counterclockwise. So it would confuse me. I'd be playing it and I'd roll the die with my wrong hand and I'd move my piece back the wrong direction. So I don't think they penalize you there. Let's see. Move the counterclockwise direction around the outside of the track. If you move in a clockwise direction, you're a nerd and may never play this game again. It actually says that. It actually says it right there. It says you're a nerd. I don't know if you can read that, but it says you're a nerd person. So no matter what space you land on, follow its directions immediately. and follow the spaces require explanation. And then it tells you if you take a card, you take the top card, then you return it to the bottom, which is pretty standard, unless you land on an arrow. So then there's a few other little things here. It explains the anywhere. Anywhere is any of the corner spaces. So there's some pretty kooky rules in here. Don't panic if you or your opponents find a board space or card to be confusing. Don't fight either. Take a vote and play according to the majority rule. To most people, the majority is over 50%. However, because you're sufficiently intelligent and persistent to have read this far, you're clearly not most people. Therefore, to determine it on your own mind what constitute a majority and vote to decide accordingly of the majority rule. You know, so silly things like that. Let's just check out the rest of it. Now the pieces aren't overly exciting. Just these little pawn tokens. They didn't go through the trouble of creating actually like characters or anything. But you know, I kind of understand that. This was made in, you know, the early 80s, or you know, sometimes 70s, 80s. They didn't put a whole lot of work into a lot of these board games. Oftentimes they were mostly cardboard and cheap plastic. So they're neat. I mean, they're not that cheapy plastic you would expect that's all hollow and stuff. Like, they're actually pretty solid. They're nice pieces, actually. I'm pretty sure these what came with the board. You know, I bought it from a thrift shop, so you know the pieces could be wrong, but and your standard die again. I mean, whoever owned this before could have raided their Monopoly and threw these in there. Who knows? And then there's the card. Again, the cards are very plain and thin looking and monocolored on the back. But so we got the French. Like I said, we've got a French version. Carte. I don't know how to speak French. And card. So I'm going to look at that card because I can't speak or read French very well. So we got things like change money. What is this? Change money with the person on your left. And it got a little comic there going on. Change money with the person on your right. Same idea. Look at this font. This is like complete 70s, 80s font. Look at that. Look at that. That's just like, that's how Pac-Man's font is. Go to any double arrow space. Kind of like, yeah, there's even Pac-Man in there. If you look at the word space at the bottom, there's Pac-Man. That's pretty cool. Put this card on top of your head and walk around the table backwards. If it doesn't fall off, before you sit down, lose $1,000. So, get you to do some kooky things. You know what this is kind of reminding me of? If you ever played Magic the Gathering, they made a set like that called Unglued. And they did a lot of stuff like this. It was a goofy set that some cards you'd have to balance on your forehead and stuff like that. If you're good looking, stand up and imitate your favorite animal and lose 2,000. So obviously when you're a kid, if you were playing this, you'd probably just read it at face value and just be like, lose 2,000. Not going to get up and do silly things like that. If you can jump up and stay airborne for 37 seconds, you lose 5,000. If not, jump up and lose 500. So 37 seconds. Who's going to time that? And who's going to be able to jump up in the air for 37 seconds? It's never going to happen. Unless you're someone who can avoid gravity. Stand up and boo the person on your left and also lose 1,000. That's pretty standard there. Looks like some disco-looking person in there. Go ahead the total on one. Oh, go ahead the total on one die. Skateboard with square wheels. Not going to get very far on that thing. Change money with anyone. That might be a good card. That could practically win you. You are a rock. Act like one. If you are good, you lose 1,000. If you are not so good, you win a rock. Why am I thinking of Charlie Brown? I got a rock. Change chairs with anyone. That's just weird. I wonder if that means you change chairs and you get their money pile and their token or whatever. If it just means you just move to a different spot of the table. If one or more of the following letters are in your name, you win the amount indicated. It spells out the word lose. So if it's L, it's 1,000. If it's O, 0. If it's S, 1,000. If it's E, 0. Oh no, it's not 0. Sorry, it's 500. I thought the oh, maybe it is. That's really small fonts on this. It's hard to read. If one or more of the following letters are in your name, you lose that amount indicated, and the word is goat. Goat. So it's like you either lose 1,000 or 1,000, 1,000 or 2,000. However, being a goat, you win anyways, 500. So gives you some money. That's cool. If you like this game, cross your legs, sit on your hands, cackle like a chicken, and lose 1 egg. Also $500. A lot of unnecessary stuff in there. If you are a boy person, win $500. So if you're a boy, you win 500, which means you're losing, or you're winning, but you're losing. You're not losing. You're not winning. You're not. Plan ahead and move any space on the board. That's a good one. Get to pick any space you want. Go to any double arrow space. Flip this card in the air. If it lands on this side face up, you lose 1,000. If not, tough luck. So you got to flip the card in the air. Again, Magic the Gathering has a card that does exactly that. Flip it in the air. This card can only be played on Friday. But it doesn't do anything. Put 1,000 under tough luck. Okay, so that's just putting something. That's some funky artwork there. Looks like a 1970s for sure. If you are a boy person, lose 1,000. So there's nothing to do with girls. Maybe they figure girls aren't going to play this game anyways. But yeah, that's the Mad magazine. I mean, there's money as well. There's some, you know, the money just is Alfred E. Newman in the middle, Mad. And that's, you know, the 5,000. It's all the same, just different colors, different amounts. Just like any other money in the game. So you can play it. It's kind of like the same with life, you know, it uses a really high amount of money. But, there you go, money. I got money! Money! Anyways, yeah, that's Mad Magazine's game. It's really neat. I don't think they've ever released it. I could be wrong. Re-released it after this point. I've never seen it in stores. But it's kind of cool. It's kind of a neat piece to collect. I was happy to re-find it again because, you know, I always wanted to try it again. So I think I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to have to pull this out and we're going to have to play it. Anyways, hope you liked the video. Let me know what you think. Are you a collector of Mad Magazine? Do you like the magazines themselves? Do you like the Spies vs. Spy? Have you ever played this game before? I'd like to hear it. Throw it down in the comments below. Anyways, hope you liked the video. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.